They didn't use guns. They used some shit you go pick up at Home Depot or Lowe's. I'm talking screwdrivers, pliers, and even hammers.
Lawrence Bittaker, with an IQ of 138, dragged high school girls into his van.
Y'all can't tell me, like, it is some evil people out in the world.
When his tape recording of one murder was played in court, people rushed outside and vomited.
In 1979, two men, Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris, teamed up in California with one purpose: to abduct, torture, and kill teenage girls. They bought a van and called it the Murder Mac and filled it with pliers, screwdrivers, hammers, and ice picks, ordinary tools turned into instruments of horror, and they would cruise the Pacific Coast Highway hunting. All their victims were young girls between the ages of 13 and 18. They would lure them into the van, sometimes pretending to need help, and once they was inside, it was over. They tortured them for hours, sometimes even days. Some of the victims were recorded as they screamed in pain, and those tapes were later used as evidence in court. And some of the most hardest detectives that worked this case had to leave the courtroom while the audio was being played. The first known victim was Lucinda Schaefer, who was only 16. She had disappeared after leaving a church meeting. Then the next victim was Andrea Hall, who was 18. Then there was Jackie, Leah, and Shirley Ledford, who were all teenagers. They were beaten, assaulted, and mutilated. One of the last known victims, Shirley Ledford, was abducted on Halloween night in 1979. Her body was found the next morning, mutilated, her face was destroyed, and it was this tape that made detectives just break down in tears. That crime's finally unraveled when Norris bragged about this to a friend, and shout out to that friend because they went to the police. When they searched Bittaker's apartment, they found hundreds of photos of young teenage girls and those tapes, which was undeniable proof of what they had done. Roy agreed to testify against Bittaker to avoid the death penalty. He got 45 years to life. Bittaker was sentenced to death, where he stayed until his own death in 2019. Together, they became known as the Toolbox Killers because of the tools that they used to take lives. This is the true crime story of the Toolbox Killers.